Going forward, if there is a statement, if there is a throw function, I don't want to implement all my do catch blocks. Here, if I see my code is very huge. So what I can do? There are three ways to implement a try catch. So one already we have seen. So here you are trying error and you are catching a error. The second way we have optional try. We have optional try. We have a propagation try. So these are not a different thing. In an optional try, what we use is try with a optional. So in this case, if error comes in the runtime, if error comes, you will not get a original error. The error will be the nil error because here I'm not doing any try catch to get my original error. So what I'm trying is I'm trying just a optional try. To the try, I'm giving a question mark here. So here it is a mandatory variable. Here I just define as an optional try. So what it will do, if error comes, the error will be nil error. So it will not throw any error here. Try your function name. My function name is check error. So here what it did, it error comes, so it is not doing anything with the error. So always my error will be nil error and it will not make application crash. But the only thing, we don't know what is the error. So in that case, instead of writing all these lines of code, we can write only a single line. And there is one more thing called disable propagation try. It is nothing but you are just unwrapping your error. So what is the error you are getting? You are just unwrapping your error. So try using unwrap. But in this case, what happens? When you are sure your method, what is the method you are declaring? If you are sure that this method will not throw any error, in this case only you have to use try propagation. So here I'll comment this. I'm using try and but in this case what happens, my function is actually throwing the error. When your function is actually throwing the error, then don't define your error as a disable propagation error. Here it actually this function is throwing the error. What error it is throwing? My value is 20 and it will come to this block x less than 20 and here I'm actually throwing the error. So in the runtime what happens, my application will get a crash and you are not able to handle the error. Now if I don't throw any error here, so I'm not throwing any error, application will not crash. So you can use what is that, in which way you want to handle the error. If you want to know error and you want to handle it, so always there is an option, you have to implement do try catch. So here I'll get to know what is the exact error and I can implement my statements. The second case, I don't want to know what is the error and I want to just proceed with the application. Just implement this method. Here the error value will be nil. In the third propagation here, if your application is not throwing an error, then use this. If error comes, application will crash. So these are the three ways that we can define the error handling scenario. Any doubts in this error handling? Sukant, do you have any doubts here?
No.
Okay. Then one small thing is there. Defer statement. So what is the meaning of defer statement? When I can use this? Suppose I have a function. I have small function and my function name. In this function, I may write number of lines of code. So I'm printing so these are some sample statements. But my requirement is once I execute entire code here. So what I want to, once I execute entire code, I want to implement some default block at the end of the function. So before you leaving from function, I want to implement some statements. So where I can implement these statements, sometimes what happens, I may write a return statement here. So if my thing is having any return here, I'm again writing my statement. So some sample statements here we are writing. Okay, so what happens here? My function will come here, my execution block will come here. So this line of code will come here x value, it will print x value, and then here I am returning. So whenever I say return, my control will directly come from here. Whenever it sees return, my control will directly come from here to end of the block. So these statements will never be executed. But my requirement before leaving the function, when I say return, it will leave from this function. It will come from this function, it will come outside. But before leaving, I want to execute some more statements. How I can execute some more statements means by by writing my defer statement. So defer is one kind of block. In this, you can implement what you want to implement. Now we'll see how it will execute. Whenever I'm writing a differ statement, my function, first it will never check for the differ statement. First, the control is never touching the differ block. The first thing it is printing my this statement of code. So what happens means differ will be called before leaving the function. I can write number of differ statements in a function. So it's like we can write number of differ statements. It will not throw any error. Now I am returning from the statement. So before returning, what it will do, it will implement your differ statement. Actually, if I want to implement this, I cannot implement. So people, what they say, when you want to implement at the last, I can write the code here. But when controls is written here, it will never execute the next line of condition. It will directly come out from this to here. So for this reason, we implemented differ, but what return will do? When return calls also, the function will not give control to out if there is a differ. The control from here to differ, it will come. Once it will implement the differ statement, then only it will come. Now I can implement multiple. So I want to implement one more. Then which one will be implemented first, which one will be implemented second? So it will be always in the descending order. So if return comes here, so first it will check before this any differ is there. So before this is the first differ statement, so it will implement this. Then following by one more is there, it will implement this. If above this any differ statement is there, it will implement that, then only it will come out. So control is not going to differ directly, it will come to the first line of code. Then my this condition will be executed. So print x I am doing, print statement will be there. Then I say return, it should directly go out, but it is not going out because of my statement. It will be printing this, then it will be printing this. It's not like differ I can implement only outside. If I want to implement this conditions inside my if block, so there is a if block. If I want to implement differ, I can implement my differ statements here also, wherever you want. But usually in a real time, one function only one differ statement will write. But in general, we can implement number of. This is a sample example for the differ. So this question you may get in the interview. Usually when people knows about the return in any language, if they say return, it will directly give control to out of the function. But my question, after return, I want to implement some statements. The question will be asking this way: after return, if I want to implement some statements, what I'll follow? But people will say return will give control directly to out of the function. This return, whenever control says, it will give this out of the function. But if I implement a differ, return will give control to the differ only, not to out of the function. So that's why we have written before leaving from function. Here we are leaving from function. So what happened? My control came to the differ, then I implement this. So this is a sample thing, but you may get a question from this. Okay. Any other doubts in this? Yes. So return. So on top of this, first what is the differ statement? So first I have this one. So it will implement this first. I'm implementing this statement, and then I'll print my x value, then it will see return, then it will come here. Like this, it will implement. So what is the if block is having? It will be implemented first. Okay. On top of this, this is the first differ. This is the second one. This is the last one. So the same order it will implement. And you can implement differ only in the functions, not anywhere outside. You can implement in the first statement, if, while, do, while, repeat, anywhere you can implement this. Any other dots in this? Sukant, do you have any other dots? Sukant, Nikhil?
No.
Okay. I'll just share one more screen. I've stopped this.